Before you step into 2026, there's a secret most people miss. A secret that could completely change how this year unfolds for you. Ibn Arabi, the greatest spiritual master, left us powerful guidance, a set of 12 divine lessons, and a dua that can protect your heart, expand your provision, and transform every trial into a blessing. Imagine starting the year with clarity, peace, and unstoppable spiritual strength. Today, I'll reveal each lesson and the exact dua that could make 2026 your most guided and blessed year yet. Stay with me, because missing this could mean stepping into the new year unprepared, while those who act wisely will walk under divine protection. Ibn Arabi taught that time is not something you pass through, it is something that passes through you. Every moment that arrives carries a divine question. What will you do with me in this instant? Most people believe a new year is just a number changing on a calendar. But Ibn Arabi warned that this thinking blinds the heart, because time is not empty. It is filled with Allah's gaze. When 2026 arrives, it will not come as a blank page. It will arrive already aware of you, watching how you enter it, how you stand before Allah, and what intention you carry in your chest. This is why the righteous feared wasted moments more than missed wealth. Money can return, status can be rebuilt, but a moment entrusted to you and neglected is gone forever. Ibn Arabi described time as an amana, a sacred trust handed to the soul. Each hour whispers either gratitude or regret into eternity. And the believer is not the one who fills time with activity, but the one who fills it with presence. When you begin 2026 with this dua, you are declaring something powerful to the unseen world. O Allah, I know this year does not belong to me. It belongs to you. This awareness changes everything. Your mornings become intentional. Your trials become meaningful. Your delays become lessons rather than punishments. The one who respects time walks gently through life. They do not rush blindly into the future. They enter it consciously, knowing that every second is being written, witnessed, and returned to Allah. That is how you honor the trust. Ibn Arabi warned of a truth most people ignore. Not every blessing is safe. Many enter a new year asking Allah for success, wealth, influence, and ease. But they forget to ask for protection from what that success may awaken within them. Because unprotected success can destroy the soul faster than hardship ever could. He taught that Allah does not test His servants only through loss, but also through expansion. When doors open too quickly, when praise increases, when wealth arrives, the heart is exposed. This is why the wise begin with protection. Protection of faith before provision. Protection of the heart before achievement. Protection from arrogance, heedlessness, and attachment. Ibn Arabi said that the most dangerous year is not the one filled with trials, but the one where everything seems to go right while the heart drifts away from Allah. This dua places a shield around your inner world. It asks Allah to guard what truly matters when the world tries to distract you. Because what is the value of success if it costs you humility? What is the value of wealth if it weakens your reliance on Allah? What is the value of recognition if it feeds the ego and starves the soul? When you ask for protection first, you are saying, "Oh Allah, give me only what brings me closer to you, and protect me from anything that pulls me away, even if it looks like a blessing." This is the wisdom of Ibn Arabi. Safety of the soul always comes before victory in the world. Ibn Arabi taught that destiny does not begin in events, it begins in intention. What you secretly decide in your heart quietly rearranges what will meet you on the road ahead. Most people enter a new year reacting. They wait to see what happens. They prepare for circumstances. But the people of insight prepare their intentions, because intention is the unseen hand that steers the visible world. When you step into 2026 with no clear intention, life will pull you in every direction. But when you enter it, having already surrendered your aim to Allah, events begin to align in ways you cannot explain. Ibn Arabi said that Allah looks first at why you act, not what you gain. Two people may perform the same action. One is elevated by it. The other is emptied by it. This is why the dua at the beginning of the year is so powerful. It is not just a request. It is a declaration of orientation. You are saying, "O Allah, let my steps move toward you, even when I don't understand the path." Intentions purify effort. They turn ordinary days into worship. They transform delays into protection and redirections into mercy. A year entered with sincere intention is already blessed, even before results appear. Because Ibn Arabi reminded us, when the heart is aligned, destiny follows. So do not ask 2026 to be easy. Ask it to be guided. Ibn Arabi taught that the greatest illusion of the human being is the belief that they are protecting themselves. We plan, we calculate, we worry, and we call this control. But control is fragile. One moment can undo years of effort. True safety, Ibn Arabi said, begins when the heart admits its weakness and hands guardianship back to Allah, where it has always belonged. The believer is never abandoned. They are only unaware of who is guarding them. When you enter 2026 relying solely on your strength, your intellect, or your preparation, you carry a heavy burden. But when you enter it saying, "O Allah, you are my guardian," the burden shifts and the heart breathes. This is why the dua asks for divine protection, not human certainty. Because Allah sees what you cannot see. He blocks paths you were about to take. He delays what would have harmed you. He removes people before they destroy you, even when you don't understand why. Ibn Arabi explained that Allah's protection often feels like loss, but it is actually rescue. What didn't happen, what fell apart, what never reached you, may have been Allah standing between you and harm. When you truly accept Allah as your guardian, fear loses its grip. The future no longer feels hostile, because nothing can reach you without passing through His mercy first. Enter 2026 knowing this truth. You are not walking alone, and you never were. Ibn Arabi taught that the deepest misunderstanding of life is believing that every difficulty is a punishment. He said that trials are often invitations, calls from Allah asking the servant to rise, awaken, and return. When 2026 brings challenges, The unaware heart asks, "Why is this happening to me?" But the heart trained by wisdom asks, "What is Allah inviting me to see?" Not every closed door is rejection. Not every hardship is anger. Some trials come because Allah wants to draw you closer, not push you away. Ibn Arabi explained that ease can make the soul careless, but difficulty sharpens awareness. It strips away illusions. It reveals what truly matters. This is why the dua prepares the heart before trials arrive, so that when difficulty appears, you do not collapse into despair, but stand with recognition. A trial entered with remembrance becomes transformation. A trial entered with complaint becomes suffering. Ibn Arabi said Allah does not burden a servant to break them. He burdens them to expand their capacity. What exhausts you today may be what elevates you tomorrow. When you understand trials as invitations, fear loosens its hold. You stop running from difficulty and begin listening to what it is teaching. Enter 2026 with this certainty. If Allah tests you, it is because He sees something in you worth refining. Ibn Arabi taught that provision is not attracted by panic, but by presence. Yet most people enter a new year with tight hearts, counting what they lack, fearing what might disappear, and chasing what was never written for them. Anxiety does not increase risk. It only exhausts the soul. Ibn Arabi explained that Allah releases provision through tawakkul, deep-lived trust, not passive waiting, but an inner surrender that says, "I will strive, but I know the result is yours." When you obsess over the future of money, work, or security, you unknowingly declare that provision comes from effort alone. But when you ask Allah to expand your rizq, you acknowledge the true source. This is why the dua does not beg in desperation. It asks with calm certainty. Rizq is not only wealth, it is peace in the heart, clarity in decisions, people who support you, opportunities that arrive at the right time. Ibn Arabi said, "What is written for you will never miss you, and what is not written will never reach you, no matter how hard you chase it." Trust does not make you careless. It makes you light. When you enter 2026, trusting Allah with your provision, fear loosens its grip. You work without panic. You receive without attachment. You lose without despair. This is the secret. Rizq flows most freely to the heart that rests in Allah. Ibn Arabi taught that the soul is like a mirror. It can only reflect what is brought near to it, and it can only receive the light of divine presence if it is polished and free of obstructions. He said that the heart is the vessel through which Allah's blessings flow. If the vessel is cluttered with resentment, anger, pride, or fear, the light cannot enter. The dua we recite at the beginning of 2026 is not merely a set of words. It is an act of preparing the heart to be worthy of receiving the unseen favor and mercy of Allah. The lesson is simple, yet profound. Before we ask for guidance, rizq, or protection, we must cleanse our inner space. Ibn Arabi often described human life as a journey toward illumination, but illumination is only possible when the heart is free of the shadows we carry within. Shadows take many forms: grudges held against others, envy towards someone else's success, self-deception, neglect of prayer, or attachment to worldly illusions. Each shadow dims the heart, blocking the divine light that could transform our life. Entering a new year, especially a year like 2026, with its uncertainties, is not just about seeking external blessings. It is about inner readiness. Ibn Arabi emphasized that without inner readiness, external gifts can become burdens, wealth can corrupt, success can blind, protection can be wasted if the heart remains distant from Allah. This is why the dua includes a plea for purification, not only for protection from harm, but also for readiness to receive the blessings that truly matter: peace, clarity, strength, and spiritual elevation. The cleansing of the heart is not a one-time act. It is continuous awareness. Ibn Arabi instructed that the seeker must examine their heart daily. What occupies it? What emotions dominate it? What thoughts are entertained? And what intentions guide the actions? The heart must be polished continuously, like a mirror that is wiped free of dust, so that even the faintest light of divine guidance can reflect clearly. A heart that has been neglected or hardened will miss the subtle signs, the gentle guidance, and the hidden opportunities that Allah places along the path. This lesson also teaches that forgiveness and letting go are central to spiritual preparedness. Holding on to anger, regret, or resentment weighs the heart down and blocks the flow of divine mercy. Ibn Arabi reminded us that the heart must be emptied of these obstacles before it can be filled with divine light. This means forgiving others, forgiving oneself, and surrendering past failures to Allah. Only then can the heart act as a vessel capable of receiving and reflecting blessings. Moreover, the purification of the heart is intrinsically linked to sincerity. Ibn Arabi said that the divine cannot dwell in a heart clouded with hypocrisy, deceit, or pretension. The dua at the beginning of 2026, therefore, is an appeal for authentic alignment, that the heart be honest, humble, and receptive. Only a heart that seeks Allah earnestly, without ego or pretense, can attract divine guidance and illumination. The clean heart is also one that maintains focus. In a world full of distractions, Ibn Arabi warned that the attention of the soul is precious. A distracted heart is a cluttered heart. A heart overwhelmed by worries, idle thoughts, and worldly attachments cannot hold the subtle presence of Allah. This is why spiritual practices, prayer, reflection, and remembrance of Allah are essential tools for maintaining the heart's clarity and light. Entering 2026, therefore, is not only about reciting a dua, it is about transforming the heart into a mirror for divine light. This lesson is timeless. Blessings arrive not merely to the diligent, nor to the strong, nor to the clever. They arrive to the prepared heart. A clean heart sees the world differently. It recognizes guidance where others see confusion, opportunities where others see obstacles, mercy where others see misfortune. Finally, Ibn Arabi reminded us that the process of purification is not punishment, it is liberation. It is the gentle act of removing the weight that has accumulated over years so that the soul can soar. It is preparing the self to enter a new year with clarity, vision, and openness. The dua for 2026, therefore, is a key to unlock that readiness, a plea for cleansing, for illumination, and for the ability to receive blessings in abundance without distortion or resistance. In summary, Lesson 7 is this: Before you ask Allah to bless your year, first prepare your heart to receive those blessings. Clear out resentment, pride, and fear. Purify your intentions. Empty your heart of what is not from Allah. Then, as you recite the dua and step into 2026, your heart becomes a radiant vessel ready to reflect divine light, attract mercy, and transform every trial, every joy, and every moment into a gift from Allah. A clean heart does not just survive the new year, it thrives under divine guidance, seeing opportunity and mercy in places the unprepared heart cannot even perceive. This is the essence of Ibn Arabi's teaching. Light only enters where darkness has been cleared, and blessings only flow where hearts are ready to receive them. Ibn Arabi taught that the greatest threat a human being faces is not the trials of the world, not the loss of wealth, not illness, nor the whisperings of enemies. It is the ego itself. He called it the hidden adversary, the quiet deceiver that sits within the heart and convinces the soul that it is the center of its own existence. The ego is subtle. It does not announce itself. It does not appear as a monster. Instead, it wears the mask of confidence, independence, pride, and even religious devotion. The one who does not recognize it may believe they are strong, wise, or guided, when in reality, they are being carried further from truth by their own self-centered desires. As 2026 approaches, this lesson becomes critical. Many enter the new year thinking that success, protection, and guidance come from their efforts alone. They rely on their knowledge, their plans, their networks, and their abilities. Yet Ibn Arabi warns that without humility and surrender, all human effort can become a doorway for the ego to dominate the soul. The ego wants recognition, status, comfort, and control. It whispers to the heart, "You are capable. You are enough. You deserve this. You can manage without Allah." And when the ego speaks this way, the heart drifts further from divine protection and true guidance. No matter how many prayers are recited or how many du'as are made. This is why the du'a for entering 2026 is phrased in complete surrender. Do not leave me to myself, even for the blink of an eye. The words are not only a plea for protection from external trials, they are a shield against the internal trial of the ego. Ibn Arabi explained that the ego is insidious because it can turn blessings into poison. Success can make a person arrogant. Knowledge can make them self-righteous. Opportunities can make them greedy. Even acts of worship, if performed with the ego at the center, become empty mere performances that feed pride rather than nourish the soul. The ego's danger is magnified in moments of apparent ease or triumph. When the world seems to go according to plan, when people admire you, or when things unfold favorably, the ego quietly says, "See, you did this. You earned this. You are in control." In that very moment, the heart steps away from divine guidance and steps into self-deception. Ibn Arabi emphasized that these are the times when the soul must be most vigilant because the ego is most dangerous when it feels safe and justified. Ibn Arabi also taught that the ego is persistent. It cannot be eliminated entirely, only restrained and directed. Awareness is the first step. Recognizing its presence, observing its impulses, and returning constantly to Allah through prayer, reflection, and surrender keeps the ego in check. The dua acts as a daily reset for the soul, a recognition that no matter how capable or strong one may feel, ultimate reliance belongs only to Allah. By entering 2026 with this mindset, a believer prevents the ego from turning blessings into burdens and trials into calamities. Furthermore, the ego distorts perception. It convinces us that the challenges we face are unfair, that the people around us are obstacles, or that the path we are on is the only one that matters. Ibn Arabi said that the ego blinds the heart to mercy, to opportunity, and to unseen guidance. When one is dominated by ego, a closed door feels like a punishment, a delay feels like failure, and a criticism feels like attack. The ego interprets reality selfishly, whereas the soul aligned with Allah perceives every event as a lesson, every hardship as an invitation, and every blessing as a trust. The solution, Ibn Arabi teaches, is constant remembrance and humility. Humility is not weakness. It is the awareness of one's dependence on Allah in every moment. Even the strongest person, the wisest mind, or the most capable soul is vulnerable to the ego's deceit. That is why the dua includes an appeal for divine guardianship over the self, not just the body, not just the circumstances, but the heart itself. A heart guided by Allah cannot be fully captured by ego, because its desires are aligned with divine will rather than personal vanity. Entering 2026, this lesson cannot be overstated. The ego will try to dictate choices, inflate desires, and interpret every event through self-interest. But a heart trained in awareness, surrender, and trust in Allah will recognize the ego's whispers and respond with humility and reliance. The dua becomes both shield and compass, guiding the believer away from self-centeredness and toward true alignment with divine guidance. Ibn Arabi reminds us that the most subtle and relentless trial is internal. While external hardships may come and go, the ego persists, influencing every thought, word, and action. Only by acknowledging it, guarding the heart, and seeking Allah's constant guidance can the soul navigate the new year safely. In conclusion, Lesson 8 teaches, the greatest danger is not what the world throws at you, it is what arises from within you. Protect your heart from ego, align your intentions with Allah, and enter 2026 with the dua that keeps your soul humble, aware, and fully reliant on the one who is truly in control. Only then can the blessings, guidance, and protection you seek manifest fully, unhindered by the hidden adversary within. Ibn Arabi taught that the most profound transformations often begin long before we see them manifest in the world. He called it the work of the unseen, the subtle shaping of destiny that happens in the hidden layers of the heart, the soul, and the unseen dimensions of life. Most people wait for visible signs of change, a promotion, a new opportunity, a shift in circumstances, or a sudden breakthrough. They measure progress by what can be seen, touched, or quantified. But Ibn Arabi reminds us that the true engine of change is invisible, occurring in intentions, prayers, reflections, and small acts of surrender that appear insignificant to the eye, but monumental in their spiritual impact. As 2026 begins, this lesson is crucial. Many will wait for the year to show them results before they commit to transformation. They will wait for life to push them into change, a crisis, a loss, or a dramatic event. believing that transformation only arrives through dramatic circumstances. But Ibn Arabi warns that this is a shallow understanding. True change starts in the unseen, in the silent moments where you purify your heart, realign your intentions, and surrender your will to Allah. It starts when you recite the dua for the new year with full awareness, even if you do not yet feel the effects. The dua for 2026, asking Allah to protect the heart, purify the soul, expand provision, and guard against trials, is itself an act in the unseen. When you speak these words, the forces shaping your reality begin to move. Opportunities are subtly aligned. Obstacles are discreetly removed. And the unseen threads of divine mercy begin weaving together a path that only Allah can see. Change has begun. Though you may still walk through ordinary streets and face ordinary challenges, Ibn Arabi emphasizes that patience and trust are required because the soul cannot always perceive the shift immediately. The unseen must unfold before the visible can follow. This principle also teaches that our actions in 2026 matter far beyond what the eye perceives. A single prayer, a quiet moment of reflection, a choice to forgive someone, or the decision to purify one's intention may seem small, yet these are the unseen seeds of transformation. Ibn Arabi compared these seeds to a hidden fire in the heart. They ignite slowly, shaping perception, strengthening character, and opening doors that the world cannot measure. By planting these seeds consistently, even without immediate results, the believer participates in the divine work of destiny, aligning themselves with the flow of Allah's plan. Ibn Arabi also warns that the unseen is subtle, it requires awareness. Many people act mechanically, performing rituals without reflection, asking for blessings without intention, and making dua without sincerity. In such cases, the unseen remains unaffected because the heart has not truly engaged. The dua for 2026 is effective only when recited with presence, humility, and alignment, because it is the engagement of the heart, not the mere repetition of words, that moves the unseen forces of change. Furthermore, this lesson teaches patience with results. When transformation begins in the unseen, its effects may appear slowly, sometimes imperceptibly, for months or even years. A believer may feel that nothing has changed, yet the unseen work continues. Ibn Arabi reminds us that time itself is a veil, and the fruits of unseen labor will manifest exactly when Allah wills, often in ways far beyond what the mind can imagine. Recognizing this truth allows the soul to remain steadfast, avoiding despair, frustration, or impatience. The unseen work demands trust and surrender, not skepticism or control. The unseen also emphasizes that change is internal before it is external. A heart purified, an ego restrained, and an intention aligned with Allah's will create the conditions for visible transformation. External circumstances, wealth, relationships, career, and health follow the state of the heart and soul. Ibn Arabi teaches that when the internal world shifts, the external world inevitably responds. But if the inner work is neglected, no amount of effort in the visible realm can produce lasting change. This is why the dua asks for guidance and protection at the level of the heart and soul first, because these are the arenas where transformation truly begins. Finally, Lesson 9 is a call to faith in the unseen. Life often pressures us to rely only on what we can see, measure, and control. Yet the heart trained by Ibn Arabi's teachings knows that the most powerful forces shaping the future are invisible. The believer's role is to plant seeds, nurture intentions, recite prayers, and surrender outcomes to Allah, trusting that the unseen work is continuously at play. When 2026 arrives, remember, even if nothing seems to have changed externally, the unseen has already begun shifting your destiny. Every sincere dua, every act of surrender, every moment of reflection is part of a hidden architecture of divine guidance that will reveal itself in perfect timing. In essence, Lesson 9 teaches, do not wait for visible signs of change to act. Begin in the unseen. Align your intentions, purify your heart, seek guidance, and trust that the invisible threads of divine mercy are already weaving the fabric of your year. Change begins silently, subtly, and invisibly, but when it emerges fully, powerfully, and irrevocably. Enter 2026 aware of this truth, and your unseen labor will turn into a visible transformation that honors Allah, elevates the soul, and protects the heart. Ibn Arabi taught that fear is born from distance from Allah, distance from truth, distance from the recognition of who truly holds control over life. The human heart is naturally anxious about the unknown, about what may come, and about what cannot be controlled. We fear illness, failure, poverty, loss, disappointment, betrayal, and uncertainty. Yet the greatest fear, the one that governs all others, is the fear of being alone in the world, unprotected and unguarded. Ibn Arabi explains that this fear is fundamentally misplaced because Allah is always near, even when the heart does not perceive it. Entering 2026, many hearts will tremble at the uncertainty of the year ahead. Some will feel the weight of unresolved past mistakes. Others will worry about the trials that might come, the relationships that could break, the health that could fail, or the opportunities that might never arrive. This fear is real, yet it is not the ultimate reality. Ibn Arabi teaches that the presence of Allah transforms fear into strength, doubt into clarity, and chaos into order. The dua we recite at the beginning of the year is not simply a petition for protection. It is an acknowledgement that fear loses all power when the heart is grounded in divine nearness. Fear dominates because the soul believes it is alone, that it must fight, plan, and secure itself without help. Ibn Arabi warns against this misconception. The believer who recognizes Allah's nearness understands that no trial can touch them without the permission of the divine, and no blessing can fail to arrive if it is written for them. Fear, then, is a false measurement, a reaction to what the heart believes is independent. But in truth, nothing is independent from Allah. The dua for 2026 embodies this truth. It asks for protection, guidance, and sustenance, not because the believer is powerless, but because they acknowledge ultimate power and guardianship reside with Allah alone. This lesson also emphasizes that fear often clouds judgment and leads the heart to act rashly. The anxious mind chases after solutions, clings to control, and becomes entangled in illusions of self-sufficiency. Ibn Arabi's teaching reminds us that fear is a form of spiritual blindness, preventing the heart from seeing the opportunities, mercy, and guidance that exist at every moment. By seeking Allah's presence and protection, the heart clears its vision and gains the ability to act with wisdom rather than panic. Divine nearness is not just a concept, it is experiential. Ibn Arabi describes it as a subtle awareness, a gentle certainty that permeates the soul. When a person recites the dua with sincerity, they draw this nearness into their heart, creating a protective field that diminishes fear. The heart becomes like a lantern in darkness. Even if trials appear, the inner light casts clarity, courage, and peace. Challenges are no longer seen as threats, but as opportunities to rely on Allah, to grow in faith, and to experience the mercy that was already present, but previously unseen. Furthermore, Ibn Arabi teaches that fear and hope are intimately linked. Where fear dominates, hope is stifled. But where Allah's nearness is recognized, hope flourishes naturally. Entering 2026, the believer is empowered not by certainty of outcome, but by certainty of divine presence. Even if hardships arise, even if plans fail, even if the world seems chaotic, the soul anchored in Allah's nearness remains steady, resilient, and unshakable. Fear loses its grip not because the world changes, but because the heart perceives the constant reality of divine guardianship. This lesson also highlights the spiritual mechanism of surrender. Ibn Arabi teaches that fear dissolves when the heart lets go of its illusions of control and fully trusts Allah's wisdom. The dua embodies this surrender. It asks Allah to guide, protect, and provide, not as a substitute for effort, but as a recognition that human strength alone is insufficient. True courage is not born from independence, but from awareness of divine support. When the soul embraces this truth, fear ceases to dominate. It transforms into vigilance, gratitude, and peaceful confidence. Moreover, fear diminishes when one recognizes the purpose behind trials. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that every challenge carries hidden wisdom lessons, purification, elevation, and guidance. Fear clouds this vision, making difficulties seem random and cruel. But the heart attuned to divine nearness sees the hand of mercy in every unfolding moment, perceives trials as invitations to growth, and rests in the knowledge that nothing is wasted. Entering 2026 with this understanding means approaching the year differently. Instead of anxiety, the believer cultivates awareness. Instead of panic, they cultivate patience. Instead of despair, they cultivate trust. The dua is the vessel that channels this mindset, a conscious reminder that fear has no ultimate power, where Allah's presence is recognized, felt, and embraced. Ibn Arabi's wisdom is timeless. The heart that rests in divine nearness walks unafraid through storms, challenges, and uncertainty, because it knows it is never alone. In conclusion, Lesson 10 teaches: fear is the product of perceived distance from Allah, and divine nearness dissolves it completely. The dua for 2026 is not merely protection from external danger. It is the reclamation of courage, clarity, and peace within the heart. Recite it sincerely, align your intentions, and step into the new year, confident that no fear can endure where the presence of Allah reigns. A heart anchored in divine nearness does not merely survive trials. It transforms them into blessings, guidance, and elevation. making 2026 a year defined not by fear, but by faith, strength, and unshakable trust. Ibn Arabi taught that life is not a straight line toward achievement or accumulation, but a circle of return. Each year, each day, and each moment is an opportunity to come back to the essence of who we are, to our connection with Allah. Entering a new year, like 2026, is not about becoming someone new in the external world. It is about returning to the truth of our soul, the heart, and the purpose Allah planted within us. Every day, every breath, and every choice is a chance to turn back to Allah, to recognize His guidance, and to align our will with His. Many people enter the new year thinking of resolutions, achievements, and goals. They focus on what they want to gain in the external world: wealth, status, relationships, and recognition. Ibn Arabi reminds us that these are temporary and fleeting. True transformation is internal. It begins with the recognition that all accomplishments are meaningless without the heart's return to Allah. The outer world is transient, but the soul is eternal. Each year is an invitation to cleanse, surrender, and reorient toward that eternal truth. The dua we recite at the beginning of 2026 is therefore a spiritual compass. It is a declaration that we are not entering this year blindly or out of routine. Instead, we are stepping forward consciously, acknowledging that our life, time, and destiny are all entrusted to Allah. By asking for protection, guidance, and provision, we are recognizing that every step, every event, and every challenge is part of our return journey. Ibn Arabi teaches that this awareness transforms ordinary moments into spiritual opportunities. A simple challenge becomes a lesson, a delay becomes a form of mercy, and a blessing becomes a mirror of Allah's care. Returning to Allah is not only a spiritual act, it is also a practical one. Ibn Arabi emphasized that every decision, every word, and every action carries weight in shaping the heart's alignment. A person may outwardly succeed, but inwardly remain distant from Allah if their intentions, thoughts, and choices are not in harmony with divine guidance. Each year offers a reset, a chance to correct missteps, purify intentions, and strengthen the connection to Allah. This is why the beginning of the year is sacred. It is the moment to recommit to the soul's return, to seek forgiveness for the past, and to dedicate the future entirely to divine guidance. Ibn Arabi also teaches that the return is continuous. It is not a one-time event, but a lifelong process. Every day, every action, and every reflection is part of the journey back to Allah. Entering 2026 with this perspective means viewing each challenge as a reminder, each joy as a blessing, and each trial as an opportunity to deepen the heart's connection to the divine. The year is not simply a passage of time, it is a spiritual pilgrimage, a sacred circle in which we continually seek proximity, guidance, and alignment with Allah. Moreover, the return is a return to purity of intention and surrender of the self. Ibn Arabi warns that the ego constantly seeks to distract, mislead, and inflate the sense of independence. A year entered without mindfulness allows the ego to dominate, while a year begun with conscious intention, prayer, and surrender creates the conditions for the heart to stay aligned, humble, and open. This is why the dua emphasizes protection and guidance, It is not just a petition for external safety, but a plea for the inner self to remain in constant return and recognition of Allah's sovereignty. Another crucial aspect Ibn Arabi highlights is that every return strengthens the soul. Just as the seasons repeat, each year offers lessons previously missed, wisdom not yet integrated, and opportunities to refine the heart. The believer learns to perceive time not as linear and fleeting, but as a cycle of divine mercy and correction, where every year serves as a reminder that life is fundamentally a journey back to Allah. Entering 2026 with this awareness allows a person to reframe difficulties, losses, and challenges. Nothing is meaningless. Nothing is wasted. Every moment is part of the spiritual return, and every choice can be a step closer to divine alignment. In practical terms, embracing this lesson transforms the approach to life. Goals become aligned with purpose. Relationships are nurtured with sincerity. Wealth is sought and spent responsibly. Time is invested not only in worldly success, but in spiritual refinement. Every decision is measured by its contribution to the heart's return. Ibn Arabi's teaching ensures that external achievements serve the internal journey rather than distract from it. In conclusion, Lesson 11 teaches, every year, including 2026, is a chance to return to Allah. It is not about accumulating more in the world, but about reclaiming the heart, purifying the soul, and aligning intentions with divine will. The dua is a tool, a guide, and a spiritual shield in this process, helping the believer navigate challenges, recognize blessings, and continually orient themselves toward Allah. By entering the new year with this awareness, every day becomes sacred, every moment purposeful, and every action a step toward the eternal return. A life aligned with this principle is never wasted, never lost, and never directionless. The heart that consciously returns to Allah, day by day, year by year, carries peace, clarity, and divine protection into every moment of existence. Ibn Arabi taught that the beginning and the end of every endeavor determine its true value. To start without Allah is to start in emptiness. To end without Him is to end in loss. The wisdom of the Masters reminds us that every year, every day, and every moment is a journey that begins with a conscious turn toward Allah and ends in the peace that only His presence provides. As we step into 2026, this final lesson ties together all that Ibn Arabi has revealed, that protection, guidance, provision, and success are meaningless unless the heart is anchored in divine connection from start to finish. Most people begin a new year focused on goals, career, wealth, health, or relationships. These are not inherently wrong, but Ibn Arabi warns that starting without divine alignment renders effort partial, fleeting, or even harmful. A year begun with reliance on one's own knowledge, strength, or planning risks, building on a shaky foundation. Challenges may come, blessings may be misunderstood, and the heart may drift into attachment, fear, or ego-driven pursuits. Ibn Arabi teaches that to truly begin well, the first steps of the year must be surrendered to Allah, a recognition that nothing in life can truly prosper without His guidance. This is precisely why the dua we recite before the year begins is essential. When we say, "O Allah, I entrust to you the coming year," Do not leave me to myself even for the blink of an eye. We are placing every day, every decision, and every moment into divine custody. The dua is both a shield and a compass, a shield against trials, fear, and misguidance, and a compass guiding the heart toward peace, patience, and divine alignment. Ibn Arabi's teaching here is profound. The external world may fluctuate, chaos may arise, but the soul anchored in Allah's presence remains stable, serene, and guided. Peace is not merely the absence of struggle. It is a state of inner alignment. Ibn Arabi explains that a person may face storms, loss, and challenges, yet experience profound peace when they know their heart is in the care of Allah. Conversely, one may live in apparent comfort, yet feel unrest, anxiety, and dissatisfaction when disconnected from the divine. Thus, the dua for 2026 is not just about requesting safety or provision. It is about creating conditions in the soul where peace becomes the natural outcome of divine connection. The beginning of the year sets the trajectory. When Allah is invoked first, peace is no longer conditional on circumstances. It becomes a companion of the heart. Furthermore, Ibn Arabi teaches that beginning with Allah influences the entire trajectory of the year. Every choice, every trial, and every blessing is filtered through divine presence. A heart that begins the year with remembrance and surrender is prepared to see mercy in difficulties, guidance in uncertainty, and blessing in the smallest of moments. Actions become intentional, decisions become wise, and intentions remain pure. This is the ultimate harmony. The external may fluctuate, but the internal remains rooted in clarity and peace. Ending with peace, Ibn Arabi emphasizes, is equally crucial. Many enter the year with devotion but allow the chaos, distractions, or ego-driven desires to erode focus, leaving the heart restless and the soul unfulfilled. A year ends as it begins, not by default, but by deliberate attention to the divine. Reflection, gratitude, and conscious surrender ensure that even when challenges arise, the heart closes the year in alignment rather than regret. Ibn Arabi reminds us that the true measure of a year is not its accomplishments, but the peace and presence cultivated within the soul throughout its passage. This lesson also connects deeply with all previous lessons. Time is a trust. Lesson 1. Protection precedes success. Lesson 2. Intentions shape destiny. Lesson 3. Allah is the true guardian. Lesson 4. Trials are invitations. Lesson 5. Risk flows through trust. Lesson 6. The heart must be clean to receive light. Lesson 7. The ego is the greatest danger. Lesson 8. Change begins in the unseen. Lesson 9. And fear dissolves in divine nearness. Lesson 10. Each of these threads leads to the final truth. To start with Allah is to invite His presence into every dimension of life, and to end with Him is to receive peace as the ultimate reward. Entering 2026, this lesson is an actionable guide. Begin each day with intentional remembrance, prayer, and alignment. Place every moment, every action, and every intention under Allah's care. Let go of control, ego, and fear. Trust that each trial is an opportunity, each blessing a mirror of divine mercy, and each moment a chance to return to your soul's center. By doing so, the year will unfold not as a series of random events, but as a divinely orchestrated journey, one that begins with Allah and culminates in peace, protection, and fulfillment. Ibn Arabi's timeless wisdom reminds us, life's true success is not measured by wealth, status, or worldly gain, but by the serenity, guidance, and alignment of the heart with Allah. A year that begins with Him and ends with Him is a year fully lived. 2026 is not merely a new number. It is a sacred opportunity, a vessel for divine mercy, light, and peace, if we choose to start and finish it in the presence of Allah. Now that you know Ibn Arabi's 12 powerful lessons and the dua to enter 2026 under divine protection, the choice is yours. Will you let this year pass like any other, or will you step forward intentionally with your heart aligned, your soul protected, and your destiny guided? Recite the dua, apply these lessons, and make every moment count, because the future belongs to the hearts prepared by Allah, not the unaware. If this video opened your heart, share it with someone you care about. Let them enter 2026 under the same divine guidance. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a moment of spiritual wisdom that can transform your life. Remember, 2026 is not just another year. It is a sacred opportunity. Begin with Allah, walk in His guidance, and end with peace. Your year starts now.